don't get yourself in a bind to get in there and start a project you can't finish because you'll never work for them again.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah, you'll damage it.
Yep.
Yeah. What is going on, guys? Welcome to ProfitDig Live. I'm here with my ProfitDig boys. I got Jeff Givens here, Chief Technical Officer. Got our partner and the brains behind this operation, Jeff Spencer. Hey, fellas.
Hey,
Look at that brain.
See that brain?
yeah.
I was going to brain.
Yeah, have sit high.
That is true.
It's got to ventilate, you know.
A lot of heat coming off.
I'm in that relaxed mode right now.
There you go. I like it. Yeah.
Focused on that beer right now.
Yeah.
And this show is not sponsored by Miller Lite. Miller Lite. Either one of y'all, give us a call.
What a missed opportunity, Coors and Miller.
You know, man, I know.
We give you more airtime than the Super Bowl.
Every time there's a knock at the door,
true.
I'm like, that's got to be the distributor.
Yeah.
It's got to be.
Gotta be.
But it hasn't happened yet. So anyway, we'll just move forward without our beer sponsorship. But hey, listen, we've been doing some videos, trying to get back some of our comments on our YouTube channel, and we get a lot of comments, and we try to pick out the ones that we feel are the best, and we think we might be able to help you.
Yeah, they're a lot of fun too. We like reading, even the mean ones. They're fun too.
I enjoy reading them. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
Jerry,
great.
Jerry gets a little wound up.
Jerry gets fired up.
But the rest of us, we're okay with good comments, bad comments, but especially questions.
Especially questions. Yeah. Well, we have a good question. And we've kind of touched on this subject before. It's probably been a minute. I mean, our channel's been around.
And I think it was actually a question from our YouTube channel back then.
Yeah.
I want to say it probably was. Yeah. So, well, here, let's just jump in here. We have a question from, oh my goodness, that is JLT SV Logs 1837. And he asks, where can I find GCs or architects that would maybe consider a new guy or a startup?
It's kind of depends on what what you've done in the past. If you've worked for someone and have built relationships with GCs that the company you're working for works for on a regular basis, kind of massage those contacts. You may not be the one directly in charge, in contact with them, but get to know those guys on site when you're working for somebody else. Ask questions. Tell them, your plans. Like maybe in the future, I may, decide to get out and be my own contractor, and would love to work with you guys. And, you may be dealing with their superintendent or whatever, but your superintendent's going to go back and say, hey, this guy, he worked for so-and-so, but he may go in business for himself one day, and, he seemed like a pretty good guy.
Man, there's some real power to it. Go ahead, Chris.
Well, I was going to say, I know a lot of companies, I do work for, they'll have a preferred vendor list.
Yeah.
And they don't just put anybody on the vendor list. You have to have a referral or obviously, some experience, extensive background there. Is that sort of the situation we're looking at here in the construction world too?
Yeah. Any GC, you can walk in their office and, have you some cards made up, something, you can leave behind, with your contact information.
Cards are cheap.
Yes. Cards. You can go buy card stock. If you got a printer, you can make them right there at your home.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
But take a few cards in, hand them out, but go in and say, hey, I would love to be on y'all's vendor list and be contacted, for future bids. And, please have someone to get in touch with me and tell me what the requirements are. Most time, they're going to want to see your contractor's license. They want to see proof of insurance. And they may ask for a few references, people you worked for in the past. Mm-hmm. And when I say references, I'm not talking about companies you work for physically. I'm talking about jobs that you've done in the past for someone as this company. Now, you got to get started somewhere. So, you may not be able to get in right off the bat with a GC, but, find a smaller GC, like someone out here, a home builder, somebody you can go out, like run a water service for, sewer service, something that's going to be, kind of quick and simple, cut in a driveway. Mm-hmm. And that way, you've got some references under your hat. Well, I've worked for such and such contracting. They're a contractor. They may be a home builder, but they're a contractor. So, your GCs may reach out to them if that's what you give them. But those are going to be your main requirements. Is some kind of reference, your contractor's license. And if you don't have a contractor's license, then you need to find another contractor to sub from, and then work under their GCs until you get to the point where you can go take your test and get your general contractor license.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah, I think, and it's not just in the construction field, right? But anytime you're someone who's being contracted out for work, especially early on when maybe your workload isn't as heavy as you would like it to be,
Right.
showing gratitude, high quality of work, punctuality,
Yes.
honesty, all the things that you would want someone you hire to express.
Right.
I mean, and like you said before, like expressing your intentions, I think goes a long ways, because a lot of people are shy. Like, they may be really good at doing work, but once you start running your own business or starting to find work for yourself, if you don't have those networks already, I mean, you got to do some self-promotion.
You got to do some PR work, yeah.
Yeah, and that doesn't mean you got to lie about anything.
No, never do that, no.
But just be honest and just tell people, man, we're just getting started, but thanks so much for, like, after you've done a job for someone, hey, I really appreciate you giving us this work. We're looking to really grow,
Yeah.
and we've got a lot of ambition. So if you've got opportunities, if you've got friends that have opportunities, send them our way. We would really appreciate it.
Yes.
Like, doesn't hurt.
No, not a bit.
I mean, worst thing that'll happen is they don't do it. Right? They don't get mad at you for saying that.
It costs you nothing.
Yeah. So make sure you're promoting yourself and your company.
And you're going to come more likely to leave an impression on someone like that than you are just to walk in, drop off a card, and say, hey, I want to be able to work, have somebody call me, walk out.
Yeah.
If you can actually have, a good conversation, like Jeff Gibbons was talking about, and build that relationship, that's what it's about. You've got to get out and do your PR. You got to get out and build a relationship with these contractors, and not necessarily, have always got to go to the office. If you see a GC working, the GC is always going to have one or multiple superintendents on site. And if they're looking for a contractor on a specific job, they may not have found one for a certain task. Go up and say, hey, my name's so-and-so, here's my card, this is the name of my business, this kind of work I do. If y'all have anything or have a need for anybody, he's like, hey, let me contact the office, get you in touch with them. He said, they may say, I need somebody to do this right now.
Yeah.
That may be what they're looking for. So, don't be afraid to go up on a job site. Be sure and wear your safety protection gear, when you go in.
Don't show up like me and flip-flops and t-shirts,
Look as professional as you can, but, don't be afraid or ashamed to pull up on a job site and reach out to one of their superintendents, because they're in contact with their project managers, which leads to their upper management, and they can pass the word along if it's going to work out.
Absolutely. Well, it's just like, old sales tactics. Apply here. Like you're saying, have your safety gear on. That's just like when you're talking to someone, you're trying to mirror their actions,
Right.
tone. It's sort of the same thing.
Right.
Show up like you've been all over job sites before.
Yeah, exactly.
What the hell
If your doctor shows up wearing surgeon scrubs, you're like, this guy's in it.
Yeah.
He's doing it day in, day out.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, there's something to, like, just the perception of authority there.
Absolutely.
And confidence. I think too, like, especially if you're really like small scale and you're starting out, on a personal level, when I've searched for contractors, one thing that's really stood out for me, and we've mentioned this before, is, now this is less to do with GCs probably, but maybe there's something here, is having a portfolio of work you've done in the past.
Oh, yeah.
Like, if on your card you've got a link that says example projects, or like past projects, and they can scan a QR code and see some photos of your work in the past, maybe a little summary of the job, that shows a level of professionalism, and that, like, hey, we're proud of our work and I want to show these. Right. And then on a small level, like when I'm looking for somebody to do work for my house, if I can't find examples of the work that they've done in the past, I'm unlikely to want to hire them.
Yeah.
And if you get that first initial opportunity, if it's something that's borderline of your capability, don't be afraid to back away from it, because they're going to appreciate that in the long run. So, hey, I appreciate the opportunity that you've given me, but, I'm just not quite ready to do this magnitude of work.
Yeah.
Because they may throw something at you more than you can handle. Don't get yourself in a bind to get in there and start a project you can't finish, because you'll never work for them again.
Right. Yeah, you'll damage it.
Yep.
Yeah. and cost yourself a bunch of money.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, and stress.
Sleepless nights. Yeah.
That's the number one killer, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, we gotta
Yeah.
keep that.
Yeah, I know you guys have lots of gray hairs. I don't have too many.
Yeah.
So, like, y'all have had a lot of stress, I guess.
Doing pretty good at that, guys.
Got a couple poking through.
Yeah, I just turned 30. Look at all that.
I know. Yeah.
I was thinking 31, but 30. Yeah, I was close.
Close, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully that answers your question. I'm going to take a stab at it. Is it JTS Vlogs 1837? I don't know. The text is pretty small there, Chris.
I know.
Oh, it's JLTS Vlogs 1837.
1837.
So JLTS, thanks for
Yeah, appreciate it.
asking the question.
Absolutely. Appreciate it.
Anything else to add, guys?
No, I think that's it. We'll try to drop this back in the comment there. We appreciate you checking in. For everyone else who's checking in, if you wouldn't mind, subscribe to the channel, like the video. That'd be great. Leave us some comments. You have some questions, let us know. It helps us create content, and hopefully it's helpful for you too.
Yeah.
And listen, you're probably all in construction or you wouldn't be here. So if you're looking for the world's easiest to use and job costing tool, thank you very much. Yeah, there's a lot of words trying to spit out here.
Yeah.
Just go to ProfitDig.com.
Yeah.
Read all about it, and we'll see you guys soon.
Yeah, we are not professional podcasters, but we do it a lot.
Oh, that's bullshit. That's bullshit. We are absolutely professional. So check us out, ProfitDig.com.
See you guys.